Alright, first and foremost, I want to give all praises unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Ukah, Hakwadash. Give peace and salutations to the Akim out there pushing this truth with sincerity. And of course, give thanks and honors and respect to the elders at GMS, Great Millstone, for teaching this wisdom and knowledge. Alright, I kind of wanted these days to get into basically carnal thoughts and fleshly desires and how they only lead to death. Alright, so I'm going to go into Romans. And to basically prey upon these carnal thoughts and these fleshly desires, you got to ask the Most High to cleanse you from these fleshly desires. Alright, so I'm going to start with Romans 8, verse 5. For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the Spirit, the things of the Spirit. So once again, it says, for they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh. It's because the reason it says that is because those that are after the flesh, those that want to delight in their fleshly desires, they mind those things. They enjoy living the fleshly ways. They enjoy living their wicked society. They enjoy living in their wicked ways. It says, roughly paraphrasing, it says, the scorners delight in their scorning. All right? It says, but they that are after the Spirit, the things of the Spirit. That's right, because if you once you come in this truth and you live in the Spirit, you realize how pure the mind can, the spiritual mind can be. You realize how peaceful and pure that spiritual thought can be. It's like it can be. It says, for to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. All right. When you're carnally minded, when you're living in these fleshly ways, and you're only leaning to the fleshly ways, that only leads to death. Sin is death, So when you're living in these with these fleshly desires and you're not trying to turn back, that only leads to death and suffering. It says, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace, because once you decide to live in this spiritual mind, once you try and continue walking on this narrow path, reading the scriptures, continue on basically pushing off the flesh for the spiritual mind, you start to realize there's peace within that, You start to find peace within that. This is, I'm going to go into James. This is James 4:4. It says, ye adulterers and adulteress, know ye not that the friendship of the world is the enmity with Yahweh. Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is an enemy of Yahweh. I'm going to read that one more time. Ye adulteress and adulterers and adulterers. My bad. James 4:4. Ye adulterers and adulteress, know ye not the friendship of the world is enmity with Yahweh. Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is an enemy of Yahweh. That's right. Because if you're living in these fleshly desires and you're willing not to turn back, you're willing and you're basically not hearkening into this truth, you want to continue living wickedly, you become an enemy of Yahweh. You basically turn yourself into a two-third. You turn yourself into a two-third. You basically become disembalanced. You're basically letting yourself, you're leading yourself to destruction. This is, I'm going to go into, Proverbs 11. 11 and 1. A false balance a false balance is abomination to the Most High, but a just weight is His delight. That's right, because if you're not trying to balance yourself off on this narrow path, if you decide to go one way and not the other, if you're trying to basically live this wicked society and put all these carnal thoughts before the truth, before the work, before the Most High, that's an abomination. You know, you got to learn how to balance these things out. You got to learn how to work on your own salvation, you know. You got to learn how to basically keep yourself on this narrow path, you know. Keep yourself balanced within yourself, and keep your spirit balanced, you know. And you got to pray to the Most High to ask for that spiritual determined to do so. All right. It says a false balance is an abomination to the Most High, and a just weight is His delight. So if you keep yourself on this narrow path, He's going to delight in that. He's going to basically he becomes proud of you in a way, you know. He becomes proud of the work that you're trying to put in for the Most High, you know, trying to keep yourself away from these carnal feelings, trying to keep yourself away from this wicked society, or away from the wicked desires. All right, this is first. I'm gonna go into 1 John. First John. It's kind of windy. Bear with me real quick. This is 1 John 2 and 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. Right? So that's pertaining to how, if you're delighting in this in your scorning, if you're delighting in this wicked society, if you're living your life carnally, the Spirit of the Most High isn't within you. All right, this truth, river, what is it called? This river of flowing water isn't within you, roughly paraphrasing. So it says, verse 15, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. It's like it in him. So loving these carnal affections, loving this, basically delighting in this wicked society, the Most High's love is this truth isn't dwelling within you. The Spirit of the Most High isn't dwelling within you. It says, verse 16, for all that, verse 16, for all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. All right. So everything that you see, everything you do within this wicked society, and if you start to delight in it, it's not of the Most High. All right. You basically you're pertaining yourself into a 2/3. You're starting to delight in your fleshly desires. This is verse 17. And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of Yahweh abideth forever. It says, verse 17, I'm going to read that one more time. And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of Yahweh abideth forever. Alright? Because eventually all these carnal affections, all these carnal thoughts, all this carnal way of life is eventually going to wipe out, especially in these end times. During these end times, you slowly but surely, proceededly see everything proceededly start seeing these prophecies come to pass. All right, the more prophecies that come to pass, the closer of this carnal society, of this wicked society, starts to slowly but surely get destroyed. All right, so all this soon enough is going to be wiped out, and once this is wiped out, what carnal thing do you have to live for? All right, it says, but he that doeth the will of Yahweh inhabiteth forever. So if you basically keep yourself on, pray to keep yourself on this narrow path. If you strive to keep yourself on this narrow path, balance yourself out, ask for forgiveness, pray upon it, repent and whatnot, and do the work for the Most High, you're eventually going to earn your spot in the kingdom, in which is going to be forever and ever, So it says one more time, but he that doeth the will of the Most High inhabit it forever. So you basically, if you put these carnal affection and these carnal desires to the side, you're basically gonna inhabit a spot in the kingdom, a spot in the kingdom which is only gonna last forever. All right, Lord willing. We're going to. This is Wisdom of Solomon 9:14. For the thoughts of mortal men are miserable, and our devices are but uncertain. That's right. It says, for the thoughts of mortal men are miserable, because our thoughts are carnal. Alright, being in these fleshly desires, being in this flesh, our mind frame only leads to fleshly desires and wicked desires. Alright, so we got to learn how to pray to the Most High and ask for that Spirit to determine to keep us on this narrow path. Keep ourselves balanced on this narrow path. We go into Psalms. I'm trying not to do this for long. My phone practically only able to record on phone at the moment, as of now. And if the videos are too long on phone, basically can't record. I can't, like, you can't really upload on YouTube. These are Psalms. Psalms 94:11. The Most High knoweth the thoughts of man, that they are vanity. Alright? Yeah, because these thoughts, these fleshly desires are nothing but vanity, alright? These wicked desires, these fleshly desires, that's where we got to learn how to keep ourselves on this narrow path, and balance ourselves out. Because if we start leading to one way, we fall off. If we start leading to the other, we fall off. And, falling off pertaining to how we give into these fleshly desires. Alright? We can't give into these fleshly desires. Even though we're surrounded by nothing but wickedness in this wicked society, we got to pray upon that, ask the Most High for forgiveness and repent and continue striving in the thoughts of the Spirit. Alright? It says, verse 11 again, the Lord knoweth the thoughts of man, that they are vanity, because these fleshly desires are only vanity. Alright? These thoughts of the man are only vanity. I'm going to go into Matthew. Matthew 7:13. Enter ye in the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. Alright? It says, enter ye in the straight gate, and it's spelled S-T-R-A-I-T, which is talking about stressful. Alright? Because once we enter into this truth, it can be stressful at times, because our growing up in this wicked society, we want to lean off and reach for our carnal thoughts. We want to lean off and reach for our carnal affections. Alright? For wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. It says broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, because if you're not walking on the narrow path, on this narrow path, which is trying to strive into the way of the Spirit, you're walking on a broad path, which is leads you open to reach for carnal affection.